Writing prompt. After hearing everything, one truth became clear. To a human, everything is a weapon. A desperate alien race, facing extinction, abducts several humans and gives them ships, random gadgets, and instruction manuals, hoping that humanity's unique ability to improvise will save them. I want you to understand that you are speaking before the highest panel. It is a matter of absolute urgency that our Defense Force leadership learns what happened as soon as possible. Yeah. Okay. The being on the view screen replied with a faltering voice. Whether the hesitation came from the pressure of speaking before such important figures or from the events that had just unfolded was impossible to tell. The chamber of the highest panel was not grand or luxurious. In fact, it was rather small and completely unsuitable for the enormous decisions made within its walls. However, its historical importance had made it a permanent symbol of tradition. Because of this, the 12 beings from 5 different species had squeezed themselves together at one end of the ancient table, allowing all of them to see the old 2D view screen. One of the 12, the same speaker who had addressed the commander earlier, spoke again. Please verify that yours is a scientific outpost with a population of approximately 1,000. That is correct, the base commander replied. You said there were no casualties? Yes, there were none. A silence followed. That has never happened before. How did you accomplish this? It wasn't us. We asked humans for help. Humans? The speaker repeated, unfamiliar with the word. The being on the view screen immediately displayed embarrassment. I mean, species ZZ9. Murmurs spread among the 12 as information about the species appeared on their handheld screens. ZZ9 was an uncontacted species, incapable of interstellar travel. Their first interplanetary expedition, if it could even be called that, had only recently reached their own planet's moon, with no larger missions following afterward. The old table creaked as the speaker leaned forward. You mean to say that species ZZ9 successfully defended your sector against a warband? No, they wouldn't be capable of that. And as of now, they are still uncontacted and know nothing about what happened. Then explain. I mean to say that we asked specific individuals for help. To be precise. You are not making sense. Another member of the 12 interrupted. We were about to perish. Or worse, become slaves. We were desperate. So we attempted to exploit an extraordinary trait of species ZZ9 that we had discovered and that was reinforced within their culture to a ridiculous degree. The commander was interrupted again. But you were ordered to evacuate. Why did you not simply leave? The being on the screen displayed confusion. We had sent an emergency aid request after first detecting the incoming fleet. The revelation caused immediate movement among the 12. Many quickly accessed their devices to examine the request. A minute of deafening silence followed. Every member of the panel discovered the truth. The request for assistance had been denied. Some officials had decided that risking the loss of the few remaining military ships was unacceptable. Shall I continue? The base commander asked. That borderline insubordinate statement pulled the attention of the 12 away from their screens. The speaker responded. Yes, explain this special trait of species ZZ9. They say that everything is a weapon to a human. The commander paused. This is what we utilized. Explain. We sent them to an orbital debris field around Naren, a gas giant and the third planet in our system. How did you accomplish that? We gave them. The commander was interrupted again. The speaker raised an apologetic hand. Please start from the beginning. What criteria did you use to select these for humans? How did you establish preliminary communication? The being on the view screen looked away briefly, showing embarrassment once more. There was no time. The crew of the system hopper we sent to Earth searched for individuals in remote locations and questioned them about their willingness to help. The commander paused. I want to add that I alone take full responsibility for this breach of first contact protocol. And you found individuals willing to help? We did. The first few either panicked, declined, or both. They were later sedated and safely returned. The commander continued. But the crew eventually encountered a traveling ground vehicle containing for humans who agreed to our request. The panel remained silent. Another member of the 12 finally spoke. Did they not object to this monumental task? Did they not have problems learning about our existence or being taken away from their planet? The crew reported that they were only mildly troubled by our presence. The commander continued. I learned later that the 4 humans had previously held military roles and were specially trained to handle unexpected situations. They had also been given a brief explanation of our circumstances beforehand, so they understood what their assistance would involve. The commander hesitated, though the crew did mention the need for sedation, as one of the 4 had to be knocked unconscious before takeoff. Aside from the other 3, the group seemed to handle everything surprisingly well. One of them was even reported to be very enthusiastic about the space flight. And then you brought them to the debris field? The speaker asked, continuing the questioning. No, they were first brought to the base, where we provided them with everything our head engineer believed could be useful to them. I will make sure to send you the complete list of tools, devices, gadgets, and items that the humans were given. What they made the best use of were the engineer helper head circlets. Wait, those are biologically compatible? The expression on the being's face displayed mild frustration. Our research data shows several similarities between our species' brain physiology. It appears we are similar enough that this type of cerebral interface works with them. But the more impressive part is what happened afterward. This is a supremely dangerous development. One of the 12 suddenly interrupted. Those devices are supposed to be species-specific, and they contain highly sensitive information about the workings of our technology. You cannot simply put them into the hands of some underdeveloped species, especially if it turns out they are capable of using them. The base commander fell silent for a moment. They took a deep breath before speaking again. For us, it was about survival. It was also about protecting the human system, as they would likely have become the next target. Honorable as your intentions may have been, this will leave a considerable mark on your personal record. I would go so far as to... The speaker stopped the agitated political leader with a gesture for silence. They then turned back toward the view screen. Please tell us what happened next. Among those 4 humans was a pre-established hierarchy. Their leader took over all communication, and they also created a plan based on the information about the enemy we were able to provide, along with the resources available for defense. They requested a ship capable of carrying them and the equipment they had selected to the orbital debris field near Naren. What kind of armaments could be found there? What did the humans use? The base commander replied, None. Nothing. Nothing? The debris field contained no weapons? The debris field was the result of a failed gas mining operation. It had remained a dumping ground for leftovers from interstellar development efforts by various civilian cooperatives until laws were eventually passed to stop such practices. The group leader told us they were not looking for firearms. They even refused the limited weaponry we offered. No weapons? One of the 12 asked. How did they defend themselves? Unfortunately, I cannot say with certainty what exactly they did or how they managed to make it work. But I can tell you what I witnessed. The commander paused and took another deep breath. Using the knowledge provided by the engineer helpers, they revived an ancient long-range colony vessel in an astonishingly short amount of time. Using its resource extraction capabilities, they began removing entire subsystems from other equally outdated spacecraft. For a moment, the being on the view screen looked away from the camera. Their voice changed, filled with disbelief. For some reason, throughout all their scrapping work, they broadcast music on low-range subspace emitters. From what I know about their home world, it was definitely a collection of pieces from there. I think it might have been battle music. Please do not digress, the speaker interrupted. Yes, sorry. The commander composed themselves and continued. We watched them remove rift engines that were not only likely defective but also generations behind our current technology. They also collected spent power plants and computer cores. I would describe them as nothing more than relics. All of these things and more were brought into their ancient colony ship to create. The commander paused. Something. The 12 had been listening with complete attention. One finally interrupted. What was it? What did they make? I honestly have no idea. Before they completed the external modifications to their ship, we lost subspace communication and our ability to observe their activities. At first, I believed it was the work of the warband that was approaching our system, but I quickly learned that was not the case. When communication returned, we still had no understanding of the humans' plan. We were close to falling into complete panic. Then the warband arrived.